Hello, everybody. Welcome to Casting for Two, episode number 197. Got a great episode for you guys today. A wonderful episode. As always, before I get into who the guest is today, I'd like to remind you that Comic Bento and Casting for Two have teamed up. Comic Bento is a weekly graphic novel subscription plan service, whatever thingy, where you get monthly graphic novels to your door. And if you would like $5 off your first subscription, use the code casting2. That's the word casting and the number 2, and I'll give you $5 off. How's that sound? And also, to keep in contact with me, you can do that on Instagram and Twitter, both at casting4two. My email, casting4two@gmail.com, or listen to my other podcast called Sunday Brunch, hosted by myself and the always lovely, beautiful, talented Megan Johnson from tipsywriter.com. And you can listen to that at sundaybrunchpod.com. All right. I got all that out of the way. My guest this week is a sports fan and a chef, and she also is the brains behind hungryfan.com, which is a website that she runs, Daina Falk. And I was really excited to get her on the show and chat with her about different recipes. I've wanted a chef on the show for the longest time, and I'm glad it finally happened. And it was great to hear different foods that she liked and what she recommends and all that good stuff. So how about I stop talking and let's get into this. So sit back, relax, and Chris, cue the music, please. I'm doing well, and yourself?
I'm good. I can't for the life of me figure out why your thing didn't pop up, but I sent a request to you, and then I figured that I didn't even need to do that. I could just call you. So
well, I guess I contacted a random Dana with the exact same name.
Or it could have been me. I think I used to have Skype like in college.
Gotcha.
And that's probably my old one. So I just lost all that account information and login, so I created a new one like 4 or 5 years ago.
Gotcha. That's it's always hard to keep track of stuff like that.
You gotta log in for everything, like,
right?
And they tell you like don't have the same password and don't whatever, and you're like, okay, I won't, because I want to make sure I don't get hacked, which obviously is a huge problem nowadays. So
right.
I won't even go there, but so I have no freaking clue what half my passwords are, because I have too many. Because I'm trying to do a new password for every different thing. So whatever. Anyway, we're on the phone now, so it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. This is a pretty loose show. We're already in it. It's already started. We're here.
Oh, cool.
We're doing it. We're podcasting.
Cool.
The one thing I like to know about people is when they found their interest. So for you, when did you know cooking was something that you liked doing?
Well, I've always been really good at eating.
Yes.
I'll start there.
Okay. All right. All right.
Ever since I was a little kid, I was really chubby too. But when I studied abroad in college, I took a lot of cooking classes and spent a lot of time with family friends who have a family restaurant outside of Florence.
Mm-hmm.
And have had that for I think since like the 20s, really long time. And I got really, really into it. What I really loved so much was sort of like this sensory, visceral experience that you get when you go to their markets. They have the most, Europe's markets, and that's not to downplay ours, but ours are like supermarkets, and theirs are these, they're pretty incredible. And go in, and it's like every color, every texture, everything under the sun, like every cheese, and it's all so fresh and local, and they don't really have, I mean, they have packaged goods, but that's really just not how they eat. Like, they're very different from us. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a gigantic yum. You walk in and you're like, oh my God, like, I just want to eat everything in here. And then you start thinking about all the cool things you can do with it. And it's really inspiring when you have really beautiful ingredients to figure out what it is that you can make with that. And when you're taking classes and you're spending time in this amazing kitchen with this 84-year-old woman who makes like 10 fresh pastas every morning, like, you can't help but get into it. So
nice. I like you. I too am a fan of food. My friend and I, Megan, started up a podcast called Sunday Brunch, where the point of the whole podcast is to eat while we podcast.
Nice.
Just because we love food, we can't help it. I find it weird when I'm podcasting and I'm not eating at the same time, but whatever. The whole point of that dumb spiel is that I've always wished I was a bit more of a cook. Just because I would love to know how to make my own pasta, my own tomato sauce, I would love to make a meal from scratch.
That's awesome. Well, I can tell you, pasta is more complicated.
Right.
In fact, to be quite honest, it's not my favorite thing to make.
Ah, gasp.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's so in general.
Yeah.
Anything that's like baking-ish related, where the measurements are extremely important because what's happening is actually a chemical reaction, I find less exciting.
Right. Okay.
So I've baked a lot of terrible things because I have just refused to follow the recipe, and my dough didn't rise, or I ended up with something very similar to like putty, or my pizza crust grew to like 6 inches high. Just a variety of terrible mishaps. Gotcha. I once tried to make brownies with Nestle Quick. Uh-huh. Not so much.
Not so quick.
Not so quick. Not so good. Not close to good. Nowhere in the region of good, right. Or edible for that matter. And so for that reason, like, pasta sort of falls into that category for me. You can have too much flour. You sort of make this mound of flour with eggs, and you like roll it around. You make the dough, and then I get like it's cool, and I've done it. I love making the sauce. I love making the sauce because it's a little of this, it's a little of that. You taste it. Add a little of this, you taste it. And honestly, whenever it is that I'm cooking for people, or even when I'm just cooking for recipe shoots or food shoots that I do here, I shoot them in my apartment actually mostly. By the time I'm done and I'm ready to serve, I've already nibbled for like hours. I'm barely hungry. So, if you happen to be at my dinner table and I've cooked you dinner and you see that I'm not eating a great deal, it's not because I am on a diet or because I'm trying to whatever. It's because I've been eating for hours and you haven't.
Right.
So,
yeah. Is there now with being a chef and cooking a lot of things? I'm assuming you can't be a picky eater.
No, I'm not a picky eater.
Okay.
I'm a very equal opportunity. I was going to try and throw a funny word in there, like masticator, right. But okay. I'm not, there's very few things that I don't eat. And the things that I don't eat actually really shock people. Because they're like, really? You don't like that? But like only a couple things that I really just hate.
I was going to ask, what are some of the things you hate?
I hate with a passion.
All right.
Black olives, particularly the ones that you buy in a can that they used to put on pizza in like the 90s.
Yeah.
Oh, I think those are so foul. I love all other olives.
Right, like green olives and stuff like that?
green olives, particularly green olives, but like
Yeah.
Kalamata olives, real olives. But when you give me, I don't know, like I guess black olives are real olives and they just get canned. I don't know what that is, but to me they kind of just make me gag.
Okay. Okay.
So there's that, and this second thing I've gotten better at because it comes in a variety of preparations, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I have some issues with hazelnuts.
Okay.
I've gotten better at just eating the hazelnuts themselves when they're just served in a salad, but like Nutella, I cannot touch. I think Nutella, for me personally,
Yeah.
I think it's gross.
Right.
So people are always like, "Oh my god, how do you not like Nutella? Nutella's like the greatest thing ever invented." And I said, actually, I think chocolate's the greatest thing ever invented, and they screwed it up when they added in the hazelnut.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I'm not much of a sweets kind of guy. I mean, I'll have a sweet occasionally, but I'm more of a salty guy.
Me too.
I can't do coconut. There's something about coconut I can't do. The taste, it freaks me out.
That's fair. That's
No,
fair.
can't do it.
That's fair.
When did you decide to combine your love of cooking and food with sports and game day events?
So think about 7 or 8 years ago, I was living in Los Angeles, and I had left a job that I really did not like.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of doing a bunch of other jobs and bouncing around a little bit. I really wanted to figure out what my path would be in sports, and so I was sort of surveying the landscape. And really, I grew up around athletes. I understand game day from the perspective of like the agents and the athletes. I've worked for teams. I've worked for networks. I've covered sporting events for them. The thing that is the most exciting to me about game day is the sports fan experience. And so when I was thinking about, what is that experience? Like, what are all of the pieces of game day? And in many instances, game day isn't just one day. It's sort of like the days that lead up to game day. I thought about tailgating. I thought about home gating. I thought about how sports brings people together, and it's an experience that you share. And I thought about sort of what is it that we're sharing, and sort of food is definitely part of it. And I quickly grasped or like clamped on to the food piece, the food and drink piece, because for me, I just love food. And because it seems like at the time, food was really getting hot, like it was up and coming. Celebrity chefs were starting to be a thing. And it seemed to me that this was something that people were really starting to love. And then shortly thereafter, Instagram sort of got started, and obviously like food porn on Instagram is everything. And like those tasty videos today that people watch like 95 million times, it's a thing that people really like. And I thought, okay, well, like I'm not trying to be trendy here, but I feel like if I were to talk about sports, there's a billion people who talk about sports, but if I were to talk about the fan experience and sort of that which is comprised by game day, I'm trying to use like proper English here, but what all that is, like food is a huge part of it. And what's really interesting, because I've traveled all over the world, food is not a big thing in other countries when they watch sports. It's a really unique American thing, like very uniquely American. Tailgating, you talk to like I had a really interesting conversation with the leading scholar on sports in China. And it's a woman, actually, which I thought was really cool. And when I told her about tailgating, she looked at me like I had 4 heads. So, I love that. Like, for better or for worse, like, we show up in our Ford F-150s or even our sedan, like, whatever it is you've got. We've got our 18-foot smokers or our little, laptop grills, basically. Like, we've got it all, and we all hang out with each other. We enjoy each other's company. We talk smack. We talk sports. We break bread. I think that's great. And I think that it's something that we should probably do more often, given how sort of polarized everybody seems to be right now. I just really love how both food and sport bring people together, and when you do them together at the same time, it's just like fantastic.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, that was one of the things because, again, my friend and I, she's super into sports. I have sports teams that I respect, but I'm not the trash talking type because at the end of the day, it's like, man, it's a game. They win or lose, whatever. But yeah, we started talking about the Super Bowl and just foods that we like. For you, what is an essential game day food?
For me personally,
Yes,
or like if
for
I
you.
wings, I need
Wings?
my buffalo wings.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can house buffalo wings. I eat like I'll even eat part of the bone. Like I just go in for it. I am like all over those things. I love them. And I get my calcium. So
there you go. Yeah, there you go. Now, is there any kind of unconventional food that you wish was at more of these tailgating or a staple?
Excellent question. I don't know. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I try and do is come up with sort of weirder foods, or weirder combinations. And there's a thing that I do a lot that I thought was pretty basic, but in talking to people, actually quite recently, they were really surprised. Mm-hmm. I put beer. I cook with beer a lot.
Okay.
I bake with beer, and the few times that I actually do bake, I often will replace whatever the milk or water component of the dish is with beer or sometimes wine. And a lot of people think that's odd. And I don't really know why, but it's pretty darn yummy. So I don't know. I don't really know if that qualifies, but I kind of like to blur the lines between what people think is like strictly one thing and I like making it into something else.
Right. No, that makes sense. I remember my buddy a long time ago would talk about beer boiling hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. What is that? What is, I mean,
why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Just, who cares? Let's do it.
I mean, hey, I have, not to be, sorry, I interrupted you, but
nah.
I've got these spice blends that I made. Mm-hmm. And people are like, I don't understand why you have pumpkin spice. Because I got pizza, I got buffalo wings, I got barbecue, like pretty quintessential game day flavors. And then I've got pumpkin spice. People are like really perplexed. Like it doesn't seem to make sense. And I said, well, first and foremost, I made it because I love pumpkin spice. Maybe you don't, but I do. And I said, second of all, I said, one of the things that I always look forward to so much in the fall is pumpkin spice beer. Like I love it. I love it. Everybody else is drinking their whatevers, and I am downing my pumpkin spice beer, and I hoard it. I have tried hoarding it. I will go out and I will buy tons of it, and I try my best to hoard it, especially over the winter months when it's cold outside because I can leave the beer outside. Mm-hmm. But once it starts getting warm, it gets skunky, and I'm screwed. So I got to drink all of it by the time it gets warm, or hope that we have a really long, cold winter.
Right.
And it really makes me quite angry, to be honest, that pumpkin spice beer, and even pumpkin spice lattes for that matter, are only available for such a short period of time in the year. I think it's dumb. Like, why is pumpkin only fall? That's dumb to me. I think that's stupid. Whoever's listening, if you make pumpkin products, that's stupid.
The pumpkin makers of America are listening right now, and they're listening. They're taking note.
Look at the data. The Washington Post put out an incredible bar graph 2 years ago of the crazy, there's a math word, like geometric or exponential rise year after year of American consumption of pumpkin products. Like, hello. Anyway, I made my pumpkin spice blend because I want you to be able to put it into beer. So my blend, you put it into beer, and you can drink pumpkin spice beer all year long. And that's why I made it. And maybe that's the dumbest, most selfish thing ever. But hey, I got my beer, and I'm happy.
There we go. See, I've always felt that pumpkin pie is the best pie out there, but why only Thanksgiving do we eat it?
Right. Why? It's awesome.
Right.
It's so tasty.
And since we're on this, I'm going to talk to the watermelon growers of America. I want
Yes.
watermelon in December.
So do I. And
Yeah.
I feel that they should find a way to freeze them, because obviously they can't always grow them. I get that.
Right,
And
yeah.
there's a thing to like eating seasonal, and like there's a healthy component to that. I get it. But like we have freezers, and we have high HPP, where they like press the juices and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, why is there not more watermelon? I agree. I love watermelon.
Would you start this campaign with me? We'll get more pumpkins during the summertime and watermelons in the wintertime.
Yeah. Totally. Let's do it. Let's go get a bunch of signatures. Let's get some legislation crafted.
We'll put it on change.org.
Totally.
We'll get it going.
I'm all about it. I understand. I understand all the people who talk about eating seasonally. I get it. But like I said, we have freezers and HPP. So what the heck, people?
And plus, it's also 2017.
Yeah, and we have dehydrators,
yeah,
too. Like, what? Come on. That's how I got my pumpkin. It's organic dehydrated pumpkin. Like, it's legit real pumpkin.
See, we're starting a lot of causes today, and I like it.
Heck yeah.
For you, how... I'm curious, because I know a lot of... My family's very different, but how do you like to enjoy steak?
Ooh. I've been really, really getting into sous videing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had this amazing day at this place in Virginia where they started it. It's called Crea, and they have a product arm. And I went down there, and they served the most delicious meal you've ever had, and everything was sous vide. And I got to go into the kitchen, and I basically just wanted a cot and like wanted to live in their kitchen. And they even gave me tastes of sous vide carrot, where they had they sous vide the carrots at like different stages, and it's hard to explain, but it was like this wall of these little orange vials, and we got to taste it, and it was crazy. Like I've never tasted carrot like that. I've never actually tasted such pure flavoring of carrot. Like the purity of the flavor that they were able to extract by using sous vide technology was insane. So I got myself, actually a friend of mine, I got married in October, a friend of mine got us for our wedding gift a sous vide machine that we can even set with an app, so I can have it ready. Yeah, I can if I know I'm going to be home in an hour, I can set it, and it's doing its thing before I even get home. And when I'm home, it's basically ready. So you can just do it like that, and then brown it and serve it, or you can do my new favorite thing for steak, which is to sous vide it. And then I just got this awesome indoor smokeless grill, because I live in Manhattan and we're really limited on what we're allowed to use here for obvious reasons, because we're all on top of each other. And these my building is over 100 years old, so
fire hazard.
So we already had a fire upstairs last year. I don't want to do that again. That was not fun. So my favorite thing now is to sous vide it with all this marinade and the flavors and the seasonings that I want, and then to grill it on this indoor grill. And then make extra sauce and sort of drizzle that over with maybe some sautéed mushrooms. That's my jam.
There we go. Yeah, no, I want some now.
Yeah, and I want those mushrooms cooked in butter, like super fatty, salty butter.
Yes, yeah. I mean, there's times where I've had a steak, and if there's no mushrooms, it doesn't feel right.
There's something about the mushrooms, and I got to tell you, I've tried cooking a lot of different mushrooms, and I have found with the shiitake, if you really cook them down, like you cook them and you cook them and you cook them almost to the point at which they get crispy, they taste like bacon.
Really?
Yeah, they do. Now, I think it's probably partially the butter, because fat is fat, but they do. The texture reminds me of bacon. So sometimes when I do, particularly in the fall, squash puree soups, I will put the shiitake bits on top, and people are like, "Oh wow, you put like pancetta on top?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's totally pancetta."
Nice.
Yeah,
Now,
it's good.
what are because my brother-in-law is huge into baking and stuff like that, so he has his essential equipment in the kitchen. For you, what can you not cook without?
Um. Okay. So this is going to sound like product endorsement, and they're not paying me to say this, but my favorite thing in the whole world, and I tell this to everybody, is the Philips air fryer.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's awesome. It's so great. You can cook basically anything in there. My favorite thing about it is you can put a whole chicken in that thing, and you can cook it in like 30 minutes, and it comes out, and the chicken is moist and delicious, and the skin is crispy.
Nice.
And not burned. So you can like put all your like thyme or like herb de Provence or whatever it is you want to put on there. And it's so good, and it's so stinking easy. So that and like potatoes in that thing are so good. Like sometimes I'll just go to the store and get I love tater tots. I love tater tots. I am a sucker for tater tots. And I'll just go get bags of frozen tater tots, and I throw them in my air fryer for like 10 minutes, and they come out, and they're super crispy and crunchy, and then soft on the inside. And it like I literally didn't even have to think about it. I mean, like a fetus could do it. It's so simple, and that's why I love it. I'm busy all day cooking, and I'm pretty horrible at doing dishes. Like, I admit it. I'm really legitimately terrible at dishes. I hate doing dishes, and that's partially why I really like cooking, because when I grew up in our household, if you cooked, you didn't have to clean.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well, I just want to get out of cleaning because I hate cleaning, so I'll just cook. And with the air fryer, I don't have to clean a whole bunch of skillets and stuff, because the truth is I'm going to do a terrible job, and there will be food stuck on the skillet for the next time. So it's better that way.
Yeah, no. It makes it easy, and it's good.
Yeah, I love that thing. And I mean, literally you can make anything in it. So
nice. So Father's Day is literally just right around the corner. Is there something you would like to recommend? Because my dad loves the slow cooker. He just got it. He'll slow cook anything. It's like, well, we're just going to throw it on the stove. No, it's slow cooking. It's going in there. So is there anything you recommend for the dads? Or maybe just the people who like to cook?
Well, I put a list together of 10 things that I found online that I really liked for dad up on hungryfan.com.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go there and you can see that. And it's a bunch of like fun like sports mugs and like, the chopping block that says dad's like the grill master king or whatever. I think those are fun. The reason I picked most of them is because they were pretty cheap. I picked them because they're cool and because they're cheap / affordable.
Yeah, inexpensive.
I really like, I got myself you were talking about steak. I got myself a butcher box. I don't know if you've tried that.
I
that
haven't.
was pretty amazing. You did? You tried it?
No, I haven't. What that?
Oh, well, you like steak. So I'm pretty picky about my steak. I have a friend actually his name is Will Witherspoon. He played in the NFL for 11 years. And I actually went to business school with Will. And he went to business school while he was still playing. And while he was in business school, I promise I will bring this back to a point in a second. But while we were in business school, Will won this award, for some magazine, a pretty notable magazine. I can't remember what it was. Did a list of like the sexiest environmentalists in America. And Will made number 7.
Oh.
Will was sexy number 7. And it just became this joke. But the reason that he won this award is because, he does talk a lot on Capitol Hill about sort of animal welfare and whatever, but he has a farm, and on the farm they raise AWA certified grass-fed clean meat. So AWA certified makes like organic look trashy. And he sent me a bunch of meat. I threw a dinner party for a bunch of my girlfriends, and I made all this grass-fed steak, and we had, AWA certified andouille sausage. It was a total meat party, which sounds ridiculous when you're talking about a dinner party for women.
Right.
There's like probably a inappropriate joke in there, but
I'm too classy to make it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's good. So anyway, I got really, I already knew why grass-fed beef was more important, or was better, quote unquote, better in the eyes of, for a lot of reasons, I guess you could say. And so the reason I like Butcher Box is because they have great grass-fed, local, like butcher sourced, locally sourced, farm sourced meats, and it comes in this gigantic box, and they just ship it to you. And it's particularly for me, even living here in New York, it's a lot of cuts of meat that I would never be able to get in my grocery store.
Right.
And there's like pork and there's bacon, and it's pretty great. So I teamed up with Butcher Box because I really like their products, and I really am very wary to sort of put my stamp of approval on anything unless I've tried it and I legitimately like it. So I teamed up with them, and I think that's a great gift for Dad, particularly if he's like a griller.
Yeah.
So, you can go, I think it's butcherbox.com/hungryfan, and you get a discount and free shipping if you use my code. So I think that's a really good gift for Dad.
Nice.
Yeah.
And for the people at home who'd like to keep track of everything you do, as well as, the blog, get recipes, all that good stuff, where can they do that?
Excellent question. So you can check out all of my recipes, especially like if you're, making some steak or burger stuff with Dad or for Dad, or if Dad's making it on his day, as well as my Father's Day gift guide, for example. All of that is available at hungryfan.com, as well as some of my products, which I even have a portable slow cooker, actually, for your dad if you're interested. There. You can find it all at hungryfan.com.
There we go. That, and how did you come up with the name? It's a good name.
Thanks. I was helping out at a New Year's Eve concert in Miami Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And New Year's Eve, I think I finished up at like 2, and I had a lot to drink, to be honest. But I have this thing where even when I'm traveling, I bring Post-it notes, and I keep them by the bed because I get a lot of ideas. I don't sleep through the night, like, ever. I usually wake up and have ideas, and then I go back to sleep. So I keep that notepad, and I woke up in my hotel room at like 4 something in the morning on January 1st of whatever year that was. I think it was like 2011. Yeah, it was January 1st, 2011. And I, in my sort of sleepy state, wrote down Hungry Fan. And when I woke up in the morning, or probably afternoon by that point, because it was late, I was like, wow, like, that's great. Good job, me. And I liked it.
Are there ever times where you wake up, you look at a post note, and just I don't know what this means?
Yes, but in this case, it was just literally 2 words written, Hungry Fan, and I thought, that sounds nice. And one of the reasons that I so much like that name is because while hungry is a word that you would naturally and probably immediately associate with food, it need not be used with food. It can be used to refer to other things, and it's sort of vague, and I kind of liked that. So it's like, hungry for what? Hungry for a good time, hungry for information, hungry for food. What are you hungry for?
There we go. It's multi-purpose.
Yes, and that's what I'm working on at Hungry Fan, to sort of expand the offerings. So stay tuned.
There you go. Well, Dana, I have a blast chatting with you. I feel like we could talk about food all day. But
Thank you. Likewise.
But I feel like I have to let you go and do more important things.
You're gonna go do more important things?
No, you are. I'm not gonna do. I'll clean your kitchen. That's important.
Oh, that's nice.
I'll do that.
And my husband should meet because he might really like you for that. So.
Look, I don't mind cleaning dishes. I find it very therapeutic.
All right, cool. I like ironing. I get the same whatever from ironing, but the dishes not so much.
Do you iron your jeans?
If they're really wrinkly,
Okay.
and that usually happens if they get stuck in the fitted sheet.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Ugh, that's the worst. Then you're like, well, I can't wear those. Other than that, no.
Okay. My dad's the ironer in the family, and he will iron, and his handkerchiefs get ironed.
I respect that.
No.
I respect the pressed handkerchiefs, and the reason is because they do wrinkle badly.
That's true. Yeah.
They do. They really do. But jeans, especially the skinny jeans the kids are wearing these days.
That's true.
You know, not so much. But if they're in the fitted sheet, that means they're probably still wet a little bit while everything else is dry, and they're terribly wrinkled.
But again, not me. You probably have a lot of important things to do. So anytime you want to come back, just let me know. All right.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate you having me. I'm glad you reached out, and I would love to do it again. It was really, really fun to meet you and chat with you. So thank you.
Anytime. But you have a wonderful day, okay?
You too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.